Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Dying Time is here. That's right, we're talking about Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker on Kill by Kill. Well, greetings and salutations, Internet. It's your old pal, Patrick Hamilton, coming to you once again from a place in Arizona. This is the Kill by Kill podcast, where we are dedicated to celebrating the least discussed component of any horror film, the characters. And we're going to unpack all the goriest of details of Butcher, Baker, Nightmare Maker, aka Night Warning, in the hopes that, a police officer's untimely end is just the beginning of the jokes we might make at their expense. And as always, there's only one person I trust that if I make some tomato pickles, she will say, they were good. The one, the only, Gina Radcliffe. How are you doing today, Gina?
I'm good. I brought you a glass of milk.
Oh, milk. I can't resist. Now, is it in a glass or a carton?
It's in a glass.
Okay.
Like civilized people.
Oh, it looks delicious. Hold on.
Also, anyway, we have a special guest tonight.
Did you drug me?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Did you drug me to get out of that college scholarship to the University of Denver for basketball? The most convoluted fucking way possible. Did you do it, Gina?
I may or may not have. Who can say?
I'm going to check your basement for a decapitated body. Anyways, before I don't want to shock you here, Gina, but we are not alone. That's right. We have a very special guest. Of course, you know her as one of the hosts of the Let's Get Weirding, a Dune podcast. And of course, she is a returning champion here to Kill by Kill, the one, the only Megan Sunday. How are you doing today, Megan?
I am doing great. I brought some sports magazines.
Ooh, sports
for everyone.
Magazines. Excellent. Can I check them out?
You can.
All right, let's leaf through. How many of these bits are we going to do?
You're really like working the scenery here. That's new.
This movie's full of bits.
New approach for you. We're just doing some play acting here. This is Kill by Kill Playhouse.
Listen,
this
I gotta make that
listed on
Harold
Wikipedia as based on Oedipus the King by Sophocles.
Is it now?
I don't think incest makes it based on Oedipus.
Yeah, I would. Is there a homophobic cop in Oedipus? Is that?
Yes.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Are there a lot of pickled vegetables in Oedipus Rex?
A lot of weird addicts.
A lot of drugged milk. A lot of conversations about, well, if you're not gay, how come we're not having more sex? And the answer is because my crazy aunt lives here, and when we go to your place, it's full of angry dogs. That doesn't get me off, lady.
That's I know those are a buzzkill, honestly.
We can't fuck in the back of a moped. That doesn't work. Oh boy, for people who haven't seen this movie, they're just going to be lost in the woods. Here's a quick content warning for those who have not seen Butcher Baker and are going to, pause here and maybe watch the movie and come back. Here's some content warnings for you. A lot of incest. Yeah, happening.
Well, let's be honest. It's implied. It's not actually shown.
There's an open-mouthed kiss at one point between mother and son. I mean, yeah, they don't go all the way.
There's some disturbing waking up in the morning.
Oh no, yeah,
man. Yeah,
a lot of slurs
and a lot of homophobic slurs. I'm not. Oh, yeah. So just be warned. Like, this is a rough watch for that, but it's also so crazy, insane, bonkers that I do think it is worth a watch if you have not seen it.
Yeah, it's like somebody saw a John Waters movie and thought, what if I made this into a slasher movie and not funny?
I find it hilarious in parts.
Not intentionally funny.
Susan Tyrrell is acting, I wouldn't say in another movie. I think we are seeing a window into a different dimension. And the camera is just capturing her, caught between two planes of reality. The between the eyebrows and the mumbling to herself and the haircut, it's a
faces, the kill faces she makes are I just love them so much.
She is giving a performance for sure. So I first saw this at the New Beverly with like a almost full audience. It was almost no one in there had seen it, and boy were we surprised. Gina, this was a first time viewing for you, correct?
Yeah, and I sat and watched it while catching up on Animal Crossing. So, I'm going to visit the island coffee shop and collecting my cookie recipes while Susan Tyrrell is running around her house screaming and killing people with machetes. It was a very, very jarring experience. And yet also I feel like that nicely illustrates the duality of my personality.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Get you someone who can do both. Murder people with a machete and play Animal Crossing. Megan, I have the feeling that that you know much more about Butcher Baker than either Gina and I.
Not really. I had seen it once before I rewatched it for this. And it was one of those where I wasn't even sure that was the movie I'd seen until I started rewatching it. And I'm like, nope, yeah, I've seen this. Like, the pieces are starting to come together.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it's, it's, as Patrick pointed out, it has two titles, Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker, and Night Warning. And neither of those titles have anything to do with what happens in the movie.
No, they're both of them are terrible titles. Neither of them help. I don't know what you would title this other than "Come See Susan Tyrrell Off the Chain."
There's no good title.
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess Mama's Boy is too obvious.
Yeah. And then the tagline is "A haunting rhyme for bedtime," which is, again, not anything to do with the movie.
No. The most haunting thing at bedtime is waking up to Susan Tyrrell in a nightshirt, just kind of like leaning into you way too much,
and purring and lightly scratching your back.
Oh, that was the worst part. I feel like if she'd been kissing him, it would have been less creepy than the scratching. Something about that was just too much.
My brain knows that Susan Tyrrell and Christy McNichol's brother, I'm assuming, are not related, but seeing it sure does make my body react like they are. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, I got the heebs and the jeebs. And
yes, he is Christy McNichol's brother.
They have a similar face.
Yeah,
and in this movie, a similar haircut.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Like someone decided the McNichol look was wavy triangle, and they stuck with it, baby.
Might be the dorkiest hero in any movie we've covered other than Craig Wasson.
I feel like, he developed into a Wasson. Yeah, he is the wobbliest hero that has ever toddled through a motion picture of ours.
He gets a butt shot, and I just felt sorry for him.
Yeah.
Not a lot of meat on the bone. We don't need to body shame him. He's very trim. It was, not
exactly what you think of with, basketball superstar.
No, that is for sure.
We also don't see a lot of quote unquote basketball superstar out of him. I mean, he can do an okay layup.
And when he's drugged and does poorly, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. I don't think he would have received that scholarship to the University of Denver either way, but having your aunt mom cradle you in the middle of the court because she poisoned your milk really probably didn't help. And yet he went on trial, was acquitted, and still went to college.
Yeah. Good for him.
Good for him, I guess.
All of her plans are so convoluted. Like the way that she kills his supposed parents is the most elaborate death sequence I've ever seen anyone, I guess, plot.
Yeah, with apparently like slow acting cut breaks, which I didn't know
Yeah.
that was a thing.
But when that log goes through a dude's head,
Oh,
like that's for real, for real. That
That
looks
was terrifying.
fantastic. Like that will put you on your heels. No one is expecting to see a pole through a dude's head at the beginning of this movie.
And then the car just tunes itself off the side of the cliff.
I mean, it's very slow. It's kind of like the truck slows down and then speeds up once it realizes that they've put a log through someone's head.
yeah. Oh, got to get out of
And-
here.
I'm not going to get involved in this. And then neither of them have been wearing seatbelts. That's the other thing. And then they kind of backslide. I mean, I don't know if seatbelts were available when this happens because it's 14 years before 1982. And then she goes off the side of the cliff. It cranks into the ground. A photograph travels down a stream. And then you think, okay, all right, that was crazy. Then it fucking blows up.
Because of course they're also looking at pictures of their child, which is what you do when you're in the car
Yeah.
away from your child.
Because they need to establish that these are this child's parents.
Even though we've seen them leave and them being like, say bye to mom and dad.
Yeah, and
Like,
even
okay,
we see that
we get it.
child who is
Because they're-
apoplectic.
Because they're
leaving.
visiting grandma and grandpa without the baby? Okay, sure.
Yeah, seems weird. Yeah.
Well, given
Um,
the elaborate, I guess, cover up of who this baby's parents is, maybe the grandparents don't even know he exists. Like, we can't show up
Maybe
with
it's
a baby.
for the best.
What I really love is that I'm trying. I spent much of this movie trying to figure out how old Susan Terrell's character is supposed to be, because her very nosy neighbor at one point talked about trying to set her up on a date with someone,
Yeah.
and says, "Oh, well, he's 35," and I'm like, okay, are we trying to imply that she is also 35?
that is not an age range that she is involved
Because
in.
that would make her 21 at the beginning of this movie.
Ooh, that's a reach.
I mean, the only person that young that I've seen that kind of eyebrow on told Dr. Phil to catch me outside. So it's not very often you see that heavily eyebrow penciled a 21-year-old.
Although, to be fair, and Gina has seen the photographic evidence of this, when I was 18, I looked 35.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Susan Terrell herself was not even, she was about 40 when she did this.
Yeah.
But she was pretty rough looking 40.
They have not done her any favors.
No.
I've never seen
well, I will say-
someone with
they're-
less makeup on in a movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, but yeah, she still comes off this sort of weird Baby Jane kind of character where her facial expressions are like super exaggerated and you know, she's all she's missing is like, a curly hair wig.
We have
Yeah.
not done a ton of hagsploitation on the show, and this might be the start of it because if I can find some more that have Susan Tyrell level performances, I'm in.
Yeah. I think it doesn't help that she's also trying so hard to be young and sexy and fun that even though she's not old, it's not helping.
Right? No, it's like your aunt who's like dancing to Pony at a wedding. And you're like, this is information my brain did not need. No, thank you.
I think that's me. Oh no. That's definitely a song that I have seen used in a TikTok, and there were comments saying, "Oh, this is a good song. What is it?" It's like,
Oh no. Well, listen, time marches on for us all. I suppose.
It does. We can't all be young basketball superstars.
Speaking of Billy Jr., he seems to be one of those guys who doesn't have a personality of his own. So he inserted a basketball where a personality would normally reside.
Yeah, he's a little whiny. He seems confused most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. No, almost all of the time. Billy seems confused. Billy seems confused doing layups. That's like when he walks down a hallway and he gets photographed by surprise. His surprise is, you can see the eyes register the thought, and then it travels through Goofy's brain to Billy's, and then he reacts.
When he falls down the stairs.
Oh my God.
Do 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 boom.
Yeah, I mean, all he needed was like to get up and have like that, like, you know, accordion noise. Fine, it's like moving up and down.
If Billy had been replaced entirely by an animated Goofy, I think the movie would have had more sexiness to it, if I'm being honest.
I'm also
we see a lot of topless Jimmy McNichol for one movie.
I'm looking at the cover.
His hairless bird chest.
I'm looking at the cover for this under the Night Warning title, and it is for some other movie entirely. Like, I don't know what they think. There's like spooky eyes in the background.
Yeah. No, the trailer for Night Warning is like, they investigated. They shouldn't have looked like. Like, are we talking about Billy like he's an investigator? Like,
someone who's in the attic and fell down.
You know, like, I don't remember the Hardy Boys constantly falling into clues, but he does. So good on you.
I mean, they kind of did. Well, that might have been more the three investigators.
Also in this movie is Newhart's Julie Duffy, making her screen debut as Julie, a human woman who enjoys taking pictures of Jimmy McNichol topless. So she's got that going for her.
Well, you know, everybody has a type.
Yeah. And the one time she manages to kind of get laid,
yeah,
it gets real weird.
I mean, she kind of wants a drink afterwards. So at least the loving made her parched. Like, that's got to be something, right? I'm sure it's not orgasm good, but, you know, we had a fun time.
Sorry, the loving made her parched. That's a phrase that was just said.
Well, I'm a writer. You know, genius just comes to me, Megan.
It's a Gordon Lightfoot song.
We forgot to mention there's a rising star inexplicably in this movie.
Oh, yes, that's
for
right.
About 4 minutes. One William Paxton, God rest his soul.
Mm-hmm.
Billy Pax.
Cast completely out of character as a bully.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Paxton at this part of his career kind of had two modes, right? He was either a hopeless weirdo or a deranged punk. And here he leans into deranged punk.
This is true.
Yeah.
Where does fish heads fall into it?
I think that is hopeless weirdo. I was just about to mention fish heads, so thank you for
wavelength.
No. People need to know that at one point Bill Paxton was a part of a musical group who had a song called Fish Heads, and it was his creation of certain parts of that music video that actually made him end up meeting James Cameron. So if he hadn't have done Fish Heads, if he hadn't have done that video, he might not have been in Aliens. So, like, there's Terminator.
With a tire tread across his face.
Yeah.
Love that makeup. Love that punk rock makeup.
Listen, that's how punks hung out at the
I know that because I used to watch a lot of The Equalizer as a child, and there were nothing but punks on The Equalizer.
But those were New York punks. These were very specifically LA punks. And of course, Gina and I know that better because we watched the Quincy episode about LA punks. Oh boy. Yeah.
Bear in mind that I only get all this by osmosis. When Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker came out, I was 6 months old.
Well, neither Gina and I saw it upon its initial release or on home video. So
that's true. For once.
Yeah. we're all in the same boat when it comes to Night Warning. So also introduced here is Coach Tom, who has an interesting coaching philosophy, which is to overly placate a McNichol kid and ignore almost everyone else.
Yeah,
he's a star. He's the one that the recruiter's coming for. So fuck everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really not out of nowhere when later on people are sort of making assumptions about their relationship. It's like, because you kind of do spend a lot of attention just on this one guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with Eddie's attitude.
They're not just saying it like, oh, you talked to him once.
He also
and that,
spends an inordinate amount of time praising his basketball prowess, which is okay at best.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where I feel like the audience really has to be told several times that a lot of people are attracted to this character. I think about I want to say it was Nathan Rabin who talked about how in the movie The Room, because they cast a rather not unattractive but pretty regular looking actress to play Lisa. That the much of the dialogue about her had to be someone mentioning how hot she is.
Yeah,
which is not something that people do in real life often. Is just casually drop how attractive their certain friend is, or someone's partner is. But here you've got at least two different people, possibly the coach as well, although he's like one of the only truly decent people in the movie.
Yeah, no, he's a fucking saint. Coach Tom is a saint.
But certainly that everybody has this scorching attraction to this celery stick of a teenage boy.
To a man named Billy, which is fine.
Yeah. Well, of course you would say that.
I would.
So, the thing that I picked up this time during practice were two things. One, when Bill Paxton says that's a foul, he's right, because fucking Nichols like totally slaps his goddamn hand. He's not hitting the ball. He's hitting his hand. And the coach is like, get over it. You suck at dribbling. And then later the coach shouts, hey, watch your back door. And I'm like, oh, starting early with this part. Okay. Into it.
Basketball is such an odd sport to choose for movies a lot of the time, because I feel like it is easier to pretend that you're good at something like baseball.
Right, where you have a particular skill.
Yeah. You just stand by a base. And you're like, this is what I do. I'm a second baseman. Like, this is what I'm doing. But in basketball, you're constantly in motion and you have to pretend like you know what you're doing in motion.
You have to be way more coordinated than like stand by first base and make a single catch, or be a pitcher where they replace you from behind so it looks like you can throw real fast.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But as you said earlier, like he's rarely shown actually playing basketball. Again, this is something he's going to be a big basketball star. He's going to get a full ride to the University of Denver.
Is the University of Denver known for its basketball?
No.
Oh man, I mean, Julia's girlfriend, she's like, I can't believe it. A University of Denver scout here at my school. Like,
usually they just troll alleyways for hobos and pick them up in the middle of the night.
Do you go to school in Amish country? Is this something unusual?
We don't know where the fuck they go to school. I don't know where half of this takes place. Supposedly it's kind of Arizona-ish, but it must be close enough to Colorado for that to matter, right?
I thought it was California, but
it looks like California because there's a shit ton of palm trees.
Yeah, I assume they just were setting it there as well.
Well, at the beginning of the movie, I think there was like some kind of newscasts that gave the weather report, and it definitely mentioned like cities in Arizona. So
Oh, okay.
And then when they decide to have the lovin', it's because Cheryl has gone off to another town in Arizona, and they call it out by name. I just
Sedona. They mentioned Sedona. Yeah. Sedona because with her neighbors.
She got to buy some crystals.
Of course, I do love the neighbors, Margie and her husband.
Yeah.
I love that apparently Cheryl is very into canning vegetables
Mhm.
and eggs, like she's running an old Irish pub. Um, and at one point, she invites them to dinner, and Marty says to her husband, at least tell her you like the pickled tomatoes. I was like, I hated the pickled tomatoes. I'm like, how do you screw up pickled tomatoes?
Yeah.
I don't know, but here's the thing. Maybe she's distracted by muttering to the dead body she has in her basement.
True.
Okay, that was where I thought, okay, this has been wacky up until this point, but now suddenly there's like an altar to a dead person in the basement. Like, this is this kind of movie now.
Yeah.
Like, that's usually two different kinds of movies.
I think this is 5 different kinds of movies all wrapped up and together.
Do you have your your serial killer whiteboard to try to explain this plan that Cheryl has to stop Billy from getting his scholarship, from taking his scholarship?
Yeah, it's full of red string, and now all of it's just red string.
Yeah, it's kill TV repairman, question mark, and then profit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do like that when Billy comes home and says, "Oh, the scout is coming," and she goes, "Come on, Billy. College is for rich kids and people with brains."
Yeah.
And while harsh, like, she has a fucking point.
She doesn't love him for his brains.
No, she loves him for that beautiful body.
Oh.
Just gotta get
that
near it.
Beautiful peeled banana of a body.
Whip it thin.
You know when you see chicken breasts in a supermarket and you think, if I got those in bed, that's McNichol in this. It is. I don't want to body shame the guy.
No, he looks like he's 16 years old. I mean,
right,
and he plays
young.
basketball.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a teenage boy, and teenage boys aren't particularly known for being ripped beyond reason.
No matter what the CW would have you believe.
Exactly.
Yeah, considering how often I've worked for the CW over the years, perhaps my idea of what teenagers are is slightly warped.
Like, they're all 6'2" and extremely ripped, right? That's all of them.
But I mean, like,
they're shredded like lettuce.
Even for teenage boy standards, he's pretty average looking. So I'm not sure why, the film goes out of its way to emphasize that there's so many people attracted to him.
Yeah, you could just have, I mean, obviously you're going to have the weird relationship with his aunt mom, and then he can have a girlfriend. That's fine. It doesn't have to be every person he interacts with, except for that cop who's just hates everyone.
Oh my God.
And thinks everyone is gay.
Bo Svensson kind of has a thing for him too.
Maybe that's why he's so angry.
There's definitely a lot of that, projection and anger thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can only, that's the only way I can explain this.
Well, he's furious that gay men in a relationship had rings.
Yeah, he's really against it all.
He's like, oh, look at this etching in this ring. And he's, poor Coach Tom is like, yeah, I know. Because we were in a relationship.
We were sleeping together for a really long time and we
were partners, and he's just like, even exchanged rings, huh? Like, yeah, that's what people do.
Yeah, they were in a fucking relationship.
It's 1981, not 1881.
Yeah, they hit it because not everyone was cool with the town basketball coach and TV repairman, like, doing it proper. So,
Detective Carlson, he went to go see Patton. He accidentally sat in on a screening of Cruising. And he's never been the same since. He just mutters at his dog, deviants, you know what those are.
Yeah, I still don't.
It's like Al Pacino at the end of Cruising. He's like, wait a minute.
I need to look deeply and meaningfully into my own reflection.
What could it mean?
And pump those barbells and recite to myself what all the handkerchiefs mean. Yeah.
I would never be able to remember.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. That monologue is a lot.
I've seen that chart on like Wikipedia, and it's like I can't remember this. Thank God.
All I remember, about that whole thing and all speaking in code is Al Pacino describing himself as fun size.
Yeah.
Because I'm fun size.
When Cheryl, after like slapping him the night before, comes into her room again for this rude awakening of your aunt mom, just like, here's me in a sheer nightshirt and I'm going to get uncomfortably close, our hips almost touching. And she gives him a card. Like, your hopes and dreams mean nothing to me. Also, I gave you a card. Here you go.
And she's doing like baby voice, like, I just wanted to give you a card because I'm sorry. And it's like, oh.
Sorry, I said you can't go to college, dum-dum.
I'm sorry, I said
You're stupid.
You're a moron who's never going to accomplish anything except rubbing the corns out of my feet.
I'm sorry I implied your mom was sleeping with someone named Craig.
The ultimate burn.
I like how he does it. Like, that was another thing. Like, he finds this picture and she's like, it says like Craig on the back, because they always have names on them when people find pictures in movies.
The person who had a baby with this person would need to write the name on the back.
Craig,
otherwise
remember.
Right.
And is there a reason she doesn't just say, oh, he's an ex of mine? She has to immediately be like, oh, your mother was also sleeping with Craig. And it's like, well, either you're going to keep the lie that you're his aunt and just say, oh, Craig was a guy I knew. But you have to say like, oh, the woman you thought was your mother was also kind of maybe a slut. I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, let's consider that her plan to keep Billy at home and not take the scholarship is to call it Hebrew repairman.
As you do.
Make a pass of that repairman.
Oh my God, what a pass.
I mean, either
hike
she
your dress up to mid-thigh and like, hey, you want to see what's above that? You gotta get involved.
Like, this was not subtle. This was like, so since you're here, sex.
Have you considered your penis in me? Says Cheryl.
Either knowing that he's going to reject her, or just assuming that he will. When he kind of does, sort of doesn't, I'm not really sure. Then she kills him and then stages it as a rape and conveniently times it for when Billy comes home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And somehow this is going to force him to stay.
Well, she's so traumatized.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I think the best case scenario is, yes, I end up having partial sex with this guy and then claim it as rape. And then, you need to protect me. But she's really thrown off when what I assume is calls her bluff. I was like, okay, if you're so adamant about this, then please perform fellatio on me. And she's like, gross. And he's like, well, what the fuck are we doing, lady? You either want to do this or don't. And she's like, well, how about, I get inside of you with a knife.
I'm still parsing this though.
Yeah.
I don't know why she chooses to do this instead of saying, please stay. I don't want you to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, she's not a communicator. Like the best relationship she has is with a dead guy that she mutters to. Meanwhile, outside, you've got Margie and Frank. And Frank, if you want to know what he's all about, he's the kind of guy who will drop your sorry you were almost raped and then killed a guy cake.
I hate that.
I know.
I do like how offended she is by the police wanting to ask her anything about this apparent rape. Yeah. Like, okay, well, what happened? And she's like, don't talk to me. Like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's like, that's not really how it works, unfortunately.
Yeah, a man is dead. This is more than just an accusation of rape. Like, there's a dead, stabbed guy in your kitchen, and two of you are covered in blood, and you're both seen holding a knife.
And then it doesn't take very long for the police to realize that the man that she murdered and accused of raping her was gay.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, this puts a little bit of
I
a
wonder-
problem.
I wonder if they kind of know. If like she doesn't know because she doesn't go into town, but word has gotten around that perhaps the TV repair guy is gay. So when Sergeant Cook says, "Do you buy attempted rape?" Which again, with witnesses in the other room, okay. Do you buy attempted rape? And I'm like, at these prices, that's a terrible joke. It's horrible, and I apologize right up front. But this is the weird thing that it puts Bo Svensson in, because he's an unredeemable asshole in this motion picture.
What do you think his solve rate is?
I think he places a lot of extra guns in the hands of people. Is my guess.
So in other words, his solve rate is great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his solve rate is great because
A lot of
he's
baggies.
framing people left and right. Yeah. He's always got a spare baggie of angel dust to tuck into someone's back pocket, is my guess.
Wow, this character. My God.
Oh my God.
But he's right about this. It is fishy. She was not raped. This death is highly suspicious. From that standpoint, like even the worst cop in the world is like, this seems like bullshit to me. It's just that he has zero ability to actually solve the crime. He just wants to pin it on anybody.
Yeah. And once he finds out that there are gay people involved, he's like, well, it's time for me to brush out my dictionary of slurs.
Yeah.
I love to see where he's like lecturing his police deputies. He's like child molestation has gone up 3%. Get these deviants off the streets.
Yeah, what was your percentage before?
Yeah.
3% is a pretty low percentage to rise. That makes me feel like the percentage of child molestation is through the roof in this town, and he's doing nothing about it.
Just sweeping off the
Well, they just got to get
drag
deviants off the street
queens.
because that's how you solve it.
the drag queens and the antique store owners.
Did you?
Well, I feel like
guys
this town,
notice
they were that was probably the gay
go.
couple. You know, that's why everyone knew.
The gay
Yes.
couple.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that part makes sense for the time period. Did you guys notice that Cheryl is humming Jesus Christ Superstar all the time?
No.
Oh my God.
Now I have to pay Andrew Lloyd Webber $1 million.
Yeah, surprisingly, they could have definitely gone for a Mrs. White kind of angle with her, but she's not particularly Jesus-y.
No.
Well,
Jesus
maybe that was
doesn't
the
seem to enter into it.
only song she knew off the cuff. They said you need to hum something. It's like how Malcolm McDowell only knew "Singing in the Rain."
Right. Sure.
So
That
there's
makes
like,
sense.
we'll figure it out later. Maybe no one will notice.
Yeah.
No one did until just now, and now they're going, "Oh no, it's out there."
Oh Jesus, we got to recall
This is on Shudder. We're gonna
have to-
Nightmare Maker. Because of course Andrew Lloyd Webber, one of our biggest fans, he's part of our Patreon, and
I
loves
bet he
us.
has every alert, every possible alert.
Really. I mean, I thought it was odd until I saw him show up in a Jigsaw Has a Posse t-shirt at a public appearance. But I'm into it. I love all of our
He was
fans.
just at that rave or whatever it was.
It's true. He was at that rave. Venom was at that rave. Everyone was at that rave.
It's a good rave.
It was a great rave.
That cop would not like Venom.
Oh no.
Mm-mm. He would not approve of that relationship.
No.
I don't know what you two
No,
were
that was-
doing, but I don't like it.
That's what that movie needs, is a big injection of Bo Svensson. So yeah, rumor gets out, he basically blackmails Coach Tom into giving up his position. Word gets out, and Eddie decides to sidle up to McNichol at lunch. And I do kind of like the way McNichol handles this, which is I'm not going to dignify any of this with a yes or a no. I'm not playing your fucking games. I'm going to pour some milk on your head. See how you like that shit. And then they tussle. And at one point, McNichol does a Batman 66 off of a park bench. His arms are up in the air with claws. Like, woo! Like fight choreo by Bob Fosse. Like, what?
Gina sold.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. I mean, I assume that Bob Fosse, constantly smoking, was on the set. Like, I know how to do fights. I did West Side Story.
No, you know, him and Susan Terrell were just like having ciggy breaks like every 10 minutes or so.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Those two bitches were just going back and forth constantly. At one point, you're kind of like almost on Bo Svensson's side because he does smell a rat because Cheryl's lying out of her teeth, but he's also a massive prick. And it's kind of like the film has two bad guys, like a spare bad guy on the side, like pushing the plot forward because Cheryl doesn't want anything to change. So she doesn't want the plot to move forward at all.
Mm-hmm. Well, Cheryl, we see, you know, murder people, several people on screen, but Carlson, I feel like has disappeared a young man or two off the streets.
Oh, I mean, he's holding a guy at gunpoint in his office with his door open. Like everyone knows what Carlson's doing. It is not. It is not a well-kept secret what he's up to.
No.
But that being said, drugging your son nephew's milk while humming Jesus Christ Superstar is a long way to go to make sure he doesn't get a basketball scholarship. I mean, what were the real chances he was going to the University of Denver?
I mean, there's just so many. I was just pondering the many easier ways she could have gone about this.
Yeah. And what if she'd done it wrong? What if she, poisoned him and then he died?
Yeah.
Like, what if that had gone wrong? She's not.
She's not a planner.
It'd be like that. Oh, what was that?
She could have made a call to the school. There's just so many things that she could have done that did not have to involve.
I can't imagine his grades.
Murder plots.
I can't imagine his grades are good.
I don't think he's on the principal's, nice list or whatever the fuck. Like, he's not an intellectual giant. Pretty much everyone says that, including Julie. She's kind of like, you're hot. Like, I want to do you all the time, but you're a pretty idiot. You're a fuckboy.
Yeah. I mean,
he's not even that. He's not even a pretty idiot. He's a perfectly average looking idiot.
Look, they live in a small town. She's got to get what she can get.
Yeah. No, it's that or Bill Paxton. And Bill Paxton's attitude is just out of control. So I think you go with McNichol.
I guess.
Maybe she loves flamboyant fighters. Maybe that's a big turn on.
This is true.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to think, what was that short film where the mom poisons her son? I think Ari Aster did it.
Oh,
yeah. I can't remember the name, but
Bonnie Bedelia's in it.
Oh, good for her. I haven't seen Bonnie B in a while.
Well, I mean, this is a long time ago. I think this is like his college film or something. That's gonna drive me nuts. All right, hold on. Bonnie
you look
Bedelia.
that up.
Yes.
We've already talked about his roll down the stairs, but very few detectives have ever made discovery by rat fright. We're like, oh, a rat. And then you discover a clue. That is few and far between. That is special.
I love that fall down the stairs. I'm so
God.
glad you brought that up. He just sort of helplessly rolls down the stairs.
He just starts rolling down the stairs. I don't even know if it was in the script.
No reaction. He just sort of, it reminds me of in a Christmas Story when he falls down the slide after Santa Claus puts his foot in his face,
Mhm.
and he just lands at the bottom, just kind of lays there like, yeah, I deserve this.
This is
Just
what it's come to.
tumbles down the steps.
Have either
Poor
of you
man.
had to tumble down a flight of steps?
I have fallen downstairs.
Yes. Yeah.
Screaming all the way.
Yeah, I definitely, there's a shriek.
For noises off, I had to fall down the stairs for 3 weeks. And at a certain point, I got it down where I didn't kill myself, but I also went through 3 shirts every performance because I was just sweating like a fucking maniac.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I had sweated so much that I almost slid off the stage. Like my head almost went into somebody's lap, like I was Philip Drebin. And then that play was also the thing that made
Nice.
made one of my organs fail. And then I failed out of my second community college. Thank you. Good night, everyone. Every time I admit
So you almost-
something on
so
the
you-
show, I have regretted.
So you almost literally died on stage.
Oh.
I started to feel bad in an intermission because it was a 2-show night. And I was like, oh, I really need to eat. And then I ate something. I'm like, that didn't help at all. And then I went through that night's performance I was sweating so bad. Like I literally I hydroplaned almost off the stage.
God.
So yeah, Sergeant Cook is kind of doing a shadow investigation of this. And the guy who plays Sergeant Cook looks very familiar to me. Britt Leach.
He's been in a ton of stuff. He's definitely like that guy.
He's one of the dads in Weird Science.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That maybe that's what is coming to me. But yeah, he was in A Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Baby Boom. But yeah, Weird Science is how I know him. But he's interesting. He at one point wears one of those Kentucky Fried Chicken ties. Yeah, I don't trust anyone who wears a tie like that. I'm sorry. That's suspect in my mind. Sorry.
What if it comes with the blouse?
Well, no, then it makes perfect sense. But on men,
It often does
I've
not,
yet to
yeah.
see it where it looks good. Like if Chalamet showed up someplace with it, I bet you he could make it work. But,
Probably.
But Sergeant Cook, not as much. And basically he's saying like, I snuck around to their place last night and saw them having sex. And you're like, wait a second, you saw them having sex? That's a problem into and of itself. I don't know that it's going to solve everyone else's problem, but okay. And he's like, I don't think he's gay because he's having sex with his girlfriend on the regular. And Bo Svensson's like, I don't want you to think this here. That better be happening on your own time. I have solved this case. Please.
Yeah, that naturally, as is often the case in some 40 years later, the concept of bisexuality is
right,
completely foreign to everybody.
He's going to see that Time magazine cover and go, oh.
That's what he was talking
now
about.
I get it.
Oh,
They do
right.
exist.
Yeah.
Like unicorns.
But it's pretty much at this point where things start to crank because, Billy is now recovering from this great game, drugging, and she's constantly, he never learns that the milk tastes like, I don't know, laudanum. What is she fucking drugging him?
That's the thing. That's
him
why
with?
I was concerned that she was going to go too far with it. Because who knows how to drug anyone's milk? Who's
Yeah.
handing someone a big glass of milk?
Right. No one. But this happens while they're kind of investigating. He's like, Cheryl, come to my house and talk to my aunt mom, and she'll berate you. She'll slut shame you while I'm looking for clues. And then you find his birth certificate indicating that Cheryl is his actual mother and that Craig is his father. And meanwhile, downstairs, Cheryl's like, hey, fetch me something from the fridge, and clocks Julie right upside the head.
with a meat tenderizer that she's been using to just she's been previously used to angrily tenderize a steak.
Mm-hmm. That's all anyone does with
lightly
those.
tenderize a steak. You have to. There's intentionality to it.
Did people, and I ask this seriously, did people just not need their birth certificates for things until about the year 2000? Because so many movies just have a moment where someone finds their birth certificate as if they've never seen it before.
I mean, I assume she would have used it to register him for school, but I think he would have needed to get a driver's license.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless that town is like if it's a shitty moped, you don't need a driver's license, but I'm pretty sure you would.
You need like a moped license.
Yeah. So again, I probably, until I had needed a passport, I don't think I physically touched my birth certificate.
Okay.
Like I didn't know where it was. I wouldn't even have known where to look for it.
Yeah, I think I needed mine to get into college, maybe. I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
You don't need one at community college, Megan. Either one. They'll just let you in. If you pay $50 per class, they'll just allow you in to practice your bullwhip in the middle of the football field. Patrick, stop admitting to things on the show.
No, Patrick, keep admitting to things.
Yeah, no, please. This is better than the time I talked about watching Butterfly when I was 12.
Wow. How did that go over?
I stayed up really late a lot and watched TV when my parents were asleep.
Ooh, Butterfly. That's something. But I don't know. Would Butterfly qualify as an erotic thriller? It's more just like an erotic drama.
I mean, I think I thought it was an erotic thriller because I was 12.
It was thrilling to you. You got a Keach letting loose. You've got a Golden Globe winner.
Exactly. That's what I was really thinking about.
You got Orson Welles at his sexiest.
Oh God, that's
just
right.
Taking a paycheck.
Oh my God. He would not turn one down. Him and Roddy McDowell. They would do whatever you paid them for.
Just rolling in from that hosting Not the Nostradamus movie.
Oh.
One of my favorite sequences while Jimmy McNichol is drugged is when Cheryl comes in with his dead mom's necklace and is like, put this on. Put on your dead mother's necklace.
Yeah.
What is that about?
She just doesn't know what she's accomplishing at this point. I feel like even Jason Voorhees has more clear ideas of like what he's doing. And I'm not even sure that he knows where he is half the time.
Yes, I agree with you. And yet we know he has fitted sheets in his dreams. Like in his dreams, he has a nice bedroom with hooks on the wall where he can put multiple masks.
I mean, that's just, everyone's got
right there, Friday the 13th.
Everyone's got their moment.
Could we just go back through the Friday the 13th franchise one of these seasons?
I know he steals lots of bottled water for his wife in fan fiction.
The first couple movies.
That's very sweet of him.
We were still a little green behind the ears, wet behind the ears.
Sure,
I don't remember.
Yeah.
We were amateurs. Now we're professionals.
I miss those idiots. I miss them. Every once in a while, I just wish we were still doing it. But you can't go back. Sometimes you can't go back. I have in my notes, why won't anyone tell the truth about Chuck Strang? This is everyone's lying about Chuck Strang. And then Cheryl cuts her hair. So we're done with the bad wig. Mm-hmm. And now we're onto a different bad wig.
Oh, yeah. This it looks wet all the time. After she cuts it, it looks constantly wet.
It's not great. I don't know what she was going for there.
Is it possible that she had traveled through time and had seen hackers and was like, give me a hacker's looking haircut?
I think she just thought it was looking good. She's like, this is it. Now I'm sexy for my nephew's son.
That's how he likes it. I mean, I've seen no evidence of that because Julie has longer hair, but still, I think this will work. Is Billy's only weakness that he can't say no to milk?
Oh, this scene where she's like forcing him to drink the milk, that was the most
Oh my
disgusting
God.
scene in the whole movie.
You can't force someone to drink milk, of all things. It's
Yeah.
no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, maybe
No.
he drank an actual beverage like a nearly grown man, and not having like these tall glasses of moo juice like 3 times a day
Yeah.
apparently.
I mean, even if there will be blood, it's a fake milkshake. It's it's an idea. Like, it's not a physical thing happening in front of you.
Yeah, but thank God, Julie is not dead. We see that she wakes up at one point in this murder basement that is cobwebbed like Dracul lives in a coffin somewhere. And it turns out that Chuck Strang is lying on a cot, sands ahead, but don't worry, Cheryl pickled it. Cheryl pickled Chuck Strang's head.
I like that they sort of telegraphed the pickled head in a jar because she's always pickling vegetables.
Yeah, no, this is
the same.
that I'm into it. I really like that part. But thank God someone with half a brain walks into this motion picture. Get ready, everybody, for our new favorite character, Margie. That's right. Margie is a better detective than Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Margie's also one of many characters in this movie that just are perfectly okay just walking into their house.
Yes. No, like she does it all the time. She's a busybody. She's always in and out there. And she's never thought it weird what that relationship is like between Cheryl and Billy.
Well, I
Up
doubt
until
she's
now.
ever seen the morning routine. I think even Margie
That's
would have
true.
had some problems with that. But I mean, people,
yeah.
I mean, it depends. Like at my grandparents' house, people would always just walk in. And it was always a little bit like, oh, here comes someone up the walk and they're in the house. Like, well, all right, that's how we're doing it here. But she's better at sneaking around. She can go up and down
Yes.
stairs without falling.
Yeah. Is Margie Batman?
Of this town, yes.
Yeah. So in a Batman Inc. sort of
Yeah.
way, she's this town's Batman. Yeah.
World's greatest
She's
detective.
kind of a ninja. She's a great detective. Like she knows how to distract people. Instead of smoke bombs, I'm going to slam this door and say I'm going out.
Do you think they'll ever let Batman be a detective again?
I don't know. They keep threatening it. And then every time you see it, it's just people shooting guns into his armors and him electrocuting guys in Warriors makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how she does the whole, okay, I'm gonna go now, and then closes the door. She's still in the house. It's like a second away from just doing that thing where you're like walking and you make it look like you're walking downstairs.
And then Cheryl doesn't even think to check, and she's the one who's just been murdering people left and right in this house. She's like, well, no,
How
sounds
she's
like Margie
never been
left.
Caught. Yeah. How she has never been
Time to make
caught
some
is
pickled
beyond me.
vegetables.
Makes pickled vegetables, mounts a cane on the wall. Who mounts a cane?
Yeah, I actually left the room for like a minute, and I came back. I was like, wait, did that somehow get lodged into the wall? And I missed it?
No, that is part of the display, like picture, cane, picture, like, oh, okay.
I feel sometimes set designers are just like, I don't know.
Just throw some
There's a
junk on
cane. Yeah, wow, look at what they've done in this house. I don't know. I don't care.
It's like the basement in Nancy's house in A Nightmare on Elm Street. They're like, I don't know. Do you have useless junk? Just throw it somewhere.
Yeah. Has anyone ever been in this basement ever before? No?
No.
Good. That's how houses work.
Get some cobwebs. That pouring the milk down McNichols' throat. I just like the Dairy Council should have banned this film before the British Censor Board ever did.
And that's why I feel like it feels very John Waters to me. Just like Cheryl saying earlier in the movie, it's like asking about the coach and talking about how he's gay. It's like homosexuals are sick people.
Mm-hmm.
And just sort of like I don't know. It just felt very Waters to me.
Yeah,
the
I
irony,
can
the
see
irony
that.
that she's staging fake rapes and murdering people, but it's the homosexuals who are the real menace.
Yeah,
If
it's
we
very
can-
serial,
if
Mom.
We can get
Yeah, exactly.
if we can get Slumber Party Massacre remade, why can't we get John Waters to remake this movie?
Exactly.
I'll drive to
This-
Baltimore and I'll
He's still
just
kicking.
call out the window.
This should fucking happen, right? Like Blumhouse, get the rights to this. Get John Waters $10 million fucking dollars, and then give him a budget of $5 million, but him specifically $10 million, and then he remakes this thing. Like, it would be huge. It would be gigantic. Like, you could put that anywhere and it would draw an audience.
Yeah, do you put your 6 or 7 production company cards in front of it, Blumhouse. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Gene,
I-
you're so angry about production.
Oh my God.
You just want
They all
you
act
just want
like,
someone.
oh, thank goodness this production company is involved in this shit, and no one thinks that.
She doesn't want everyone doing their fancy logo. She just wants like that NXX video to just like, we're just throwing cards. It's Bob Dylan. We're just throwing them. I like how
Here's
I'm
this
acting that out
dentist.
in my spare room right now. You can't see me. But I was still doing it. So there's that.
But now that Julie is on the loose, we get serious Friday the 13th downpour vibes as we hear a lot of lightning and very little rainfall. And she's on the loose. And she wanders into a barn of doom. Speaking of Friday the 13th, we haven't had a barn of doom in a long time.
Yeah, no wonder you're so nostalgic of the Friday the 13th days.
Mhm.
There are a lot of callbacks to Friday the 13th happening here. And of course, the other callback that is happening is that Margie's hair begins to look like Jackie Rogers Jr. when he filmed the $100,000 jackpot wad.
Wow. Is that our deepest cut yet? Or
I think that might be.
If you do not have Google open before, you sure as shit need it now.
I do think I brought up Johnny Nucleo in another episode, so I think we're neck and neck there.
So finally on the show, we get a Dynasty water feature fight between Margie and Julie.
Just what the
and-
audience wants to see.
Yeah, that's right. Just Julie, Duffy, and Tyrell, wet and wild.
She's just making these grunting noises while trying to kill her, which is incredible.
And so, yeah, and then Cheryl just knocks her out with 3 blows to the head with a rock, which you would be dead. You
Mhm.
would be a dead person after that.
I mean,
Yeah.
getting clocked in the dome with a meat tenderizer ought to do it too.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, we missed a death. And we missed 2 deaths. Margie
2?
gets it in the gut with the
Yeah.
machete. And a throat slice. And then Sergeant Cook.
the other cop, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a dehanding and a throat slash as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I completely forgot that he existed.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
know.
sir.
A lot of machete. This does have a ton of Friday the 13th vibes to it. It just
Mhm.
like, I'm very thankful that Friday the 13th doesn't have this level of homophobia constantly interjected into it.
People love when middle-aged ladies kill.
Yes, it's true.
I
It's
mean,
great.
it's
And they
the
have
best.
a reason. So
Yeah.
They've been through it.
I'm certainly not saying that just to lay any groundwork.
Exactly.
Not at all. No.
We're not
No.
telegraphing anything.
I think the most haunting line in this entire motion picture is "I'm your girlfriend now" from Cheryl.
This is like almost
No.
too much for me. And I used to have a blog where all I talked about was VC Andrews.
I was about to say, you've got a lot of knowledge on the
Okay.
flowers in the attic.
There's never any way that anyone phrases that makes me sound any better.
I would say your obsession with crabs allows you to move away from the flowers in the attic thing into
He means
a
the
different
book,
level.
everyone.
Of
The book. He means the book, Night of the Crabs.
Yeah, no, you don't have a passion for actual crabs.
No. Well, I do live in Maryland. That's part of the.
Yes,
it's
true.
the law.
If there's any place to do it.
Yeah.
We do. Was that line from Wedding Crashers? This is Maryland. We do two things:
crab cakes and football.
Crab cakes and football.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Great line. I think I haven't watched the movie again in a long time. That's all I remember from it, and I think I'm going to keep it there.
It was on a lot of stuff for a while. Now we're just back to the flag. No one loves their state flag like Maryland loves their state flag.
Sure. So outside, finally the cops arrive. I guess one of the phone calls gets through to the sheriff's department. And so they send out a guy. They find Margie's dead body. Here comes Bo Svensson, and the beat cop looks at it, and his line reading to Bo Svensson is, "Woman's dead, Lieutenant." Why the extra pause? You have 3 lines. You're telling me you forgot one of them?
He was just trying. He wanted to be memorable. He's like, here I go.
It happened.
Here I go.
And then for the last 7 minutes of this motion picture, if you're going to watch it or watch it again, here's a drinking game you should not play. And that is, don't drink every time someone says Billy, because you will be dead.
I was very tempted to just record that entire section and use it to harass my husband.
You two will be pickled much like Billy's real father.
This does kind of become the end of Pieces,
Yeah.
where it's very dark. We're in a very weirdly appointed living room, and just weird shit is going down, and you don't know who's dead.
Too many people are involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's weird, ungainly cops. There's an inexplicably thought hot young man.
Yeah. And although we never seen McNichol's unit, and we got to see
true.
that guy's
yeah,
unit,
we did.
and, yeah.
Great.
So anyways, there's this Michigas where Coach Tom shows up, and he's like, "I'm sorry." Oh yeah. Billy kills his mom. After a lot of back and forth, he stabs her. What appears to be the heart, which she takes as a timeout for about 30 seconds and then is back up and at him. She slashes him a bunch with that same knife opener. And then he sets up a fire poker using the floor, pointing up at her like she's a horse. And then she just goes right into it. She doesn't swerve left. She doesn't go right. She takes a whole fucking fireplace poker right to the gut.
That has been an inexplicable fear of mine, because I believe that was a death on an episode of 6 Feet Under, where someone fell into a poker. And ever since then, it's just like, I don't know in what situation I ever think that would happen, or one would be pointing up. But as soon as that started to happen, I was like, oh no, not again.
And then, she just has a very long and drawn out death scene. And she's like, "You're never going to find anyone better than me." And then dies.
Which really, I mean, when you're departing from the one you love, that's really a great final thing to say. You'll never do better than me.
You just,
I'm the best.
Also, I'm your mom.
So,
peace out.
And so then Coach Tom shows up, and he's just like, then nobody's touching anything.
Why is he even there? I honestly, I feel
know.
like they just were like, we need someone to show up and we killed all the cops.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And you're meant to think that maybe Julie really got offed because she takes a lot of shots to the dome. But Bo Svensson walks in and is like, "Oh, okay, I'm arresting maybe both of you. Well, wait a second. Let's not arrest you. Let's just shoot you. Let's solve this problem with bullets."
Let's get these degenerates off the streets.
So he slaps Coach Tom with his 45, leaving a pretty nasty gash. And then Coach Tom takes that same fire poker to the gun, knocks it on the ground, and McNichol picks it up. And then we just have a long sequence of Bo Svensson going, Come on. Come on. Come on. You're not, come on. You're not going to, come on. Come on. Come on. You're not going to shoot me. Come on. And finally fucking get shot.
Good riddance.
It takes forever.
Yeah.
Good riddance to bad rubbish.
3 times in the gut.
I think these are all the police in town, though.
That's very true. They're going to have a lot of flyers up at the Piggly Wiggly asking, are you interested in law enforcement? We have positions open.
Please, please. This town is riddled with crime. Degenerates everywhere.
We prefer
molestation is up 3%. We need more cops.
We prefer if you weren't homophobic, but you know what? If you don't tell us, that's okay too.
Yeah, it's okay. Do you know how to stick a gun in someone's mouth? Can you identify a hooker? These are skills we need.
I guarantee that he just occasionally saw a, college co-ed in a tube top and was like, a streetwalker. Like, it's 2 PM. I'm going to class. No.
The town has one thoroughfare. Not everyone in a tube top next to the Arby's is a hooker. It's like,
they're just going like for curly fries. How are you going to pay for those curly fries? There it goes. Yeah. Like, with money?
Bang, whammo. So yeah, Bo takes 3 shots to the gut. And then in an after credits Chiron, we learn that Billy was put on trial and was acquitted after 4 hours.
Why do we need this information? Like, it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
or like Dragnet, right?
Yeah. Like, thanks. Wow, I had no idea.
I was really worried.
God, it's like Animal
Jurors
House. Now I know what happened.
Perplexed about Cheryl's pickling, and then they learned that she wanted to boink her son, and Billy got off.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, honestly, even if he had done it, they'd be like, you know what, kid, that upbringing was very bizarre. Who knows what you were thinking?
Yeah. Plus, like, killed the one cop in town everyone wanted to die. So, like, good on you, man. And that's it, man. That is Night Warning, aka Butcher Baker, Nightmare Maker.
Yeah, another one where either an hour or 3 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's time to choose our own death venture. That is where we decide of the deaths portrayed in this motion picture. If you were forced to die that way, which one would you choose and why? Okay, we got telephone pole to the face, crash off a cliff into a creek without a seatbelt, and then explode. We got stabbed by a woman sexually assaulting you, decapitated, head preserved in a pickling jar, gut shot with a machete, dehanded and then throat slashed with a machete, stabbed in the chest with a letter opener and fire poker to the gut, or take 3 shots to the spine from fucking Jimmy McNichol, for Christ's sakes. So you got that to look forward to. Megan, you're our guest, so I choose you to go first.
Oh, man. This is terrible pickings. I guess I would have to say probably the log to the face, because at least that was it. Like, there wasn't a whole lot after that. You didn't really see it coming.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Gina, what say you?
Yeah, I'm also going to take log in the face, because that's pretty bitchin' way to go.
Yeah.
It really is. You've got quite a story when you make it to, wherever Beetlejuices are made. You're walking around with your neck bent backwards like a telephone pole.
But the best part of that is that Beetlejuice would still hit on you.
He would. He's into that for whatever reason. Also, I guess for me, I'm going to take decapitated and my head preserved in a pickling jar. Because I want to make sure this face looks great forever. And I think Cheryl's pickling might be the way to do it.
Are you going to write that in your will?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. It's going to be weird because I'm already going to be dead. But if they read it fast, I think they can preserve my dashing good looks.
Well, it's like organ donation. You know, you can just put that next to it on your driver's license. Like organ donation, pickle my head.
Which one of me at the DMV, which one of these boxes is get decapitated, put head in pickling jar?
Like, I'm just asking. You can have everything else, but it's this particularly.
Yeah, no, that's all. Science can't have my beautiful, beautiful face. So that just about does it. Megan, where can people find more about you and the things you're doing on the internet?
Well, like we said at the beginning, I am the co-host of Let's Get Weirding at Dune podcast with my friend Bo North, where we go over Frank Herbert's Dune series chapter by chapter. Right now we are on Children of Dune. So if you happen to see a very popular film that recently came out and you're curious about that universe, please check us out.
Mm-hmm.
I also write over at thespool.net where I review TV and movies.
Never heard of it. Gina, where can people find you on these here internet?
I too write for the never heard of spool.net and write about movies and television. I also am on Twitter under @GinaDoesThings, GENA.
You know where to find us. We're on all your socials, Kill by Kill Pod. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You want a cool t-shirt? You can get one. We have a t-shirt shop at TeePublic. Find the link in this episode description. You can join Patreon to keep these episodes free for everyone. You get 2 episodes a month if you're at the $5 or higher level. And that is a bonus episode where we either talk about something we want to talk about or a listener suggestion. And at the end of every month, we're going through Halloween. You guys demanded it. You wanted us to talk about Halloween. This is how we're going to do it. We're doing commentaries where you can listen to us while watching the movie. I don't think God intended it to be any different than that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given us the technology. That just about does it. Next week, there'll be more After Dark. We will be taking a small vacation over Christmas. We'll have a bonus for you, but we're unlocking something from the Patreon. And then we'll be back in the new year. But don't worry, folks. The body count will continue for myself, Gina, and Megan. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.